And welcome back, everybody, to Swain Batty League Season 7, Week 3. I am Matt 30 Bliss, and today I am joined by Scotch. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fabulous.
Well, that is great to hear. And let's just jump right into another great week of SBL. Before we get started into the draft, we'll quickly go over the MVPs for last week because we do that kind of stuff now. I believe it is showing up on the stream. Oh my God, that is an Asian language. Don't worry about it. Game one, Boy Butter versus 2K2S. Last week, the MVP is Epic Yandere. He played a Mumu. Now, I didn't really expect there to be an MVP award to an Amumu player. Did you, Scotch?
I mean, if you can play a Mumu, well, you're gonna make plays.
That
So,
is true. Yeah, I was surprised with the pick. Didn't think it was overall like a good pick in the situation, but he did really perform on it well. He had a few mishaps in the early game, but he really came around and laid down the curse of the sad mummy. Quickly, game two, Thor Odison, playing for Boost. He played Corky mid, 6-1-5. Really good performance out of him. That was his first week of play. He missed week one, so good to see him get that MVP. What do you think of that?
oh yeah, he was definitely laying down the deeps, and I didn't like their comp, but they made me eat my words that night, and they just absolutely destroyed Waifu Superstar.
Oh
Just
yeah. And wow, we're so quick into the draft already. But quickly, game three, Blabour, obviously once again unanimous. Like, is this guy? He played Oriana, by the way, 7-2-7. Is this guy gonna get an MVP every week?
I mean, if nobody else steps up on that team and Blab just keeps performing the way he is, it certainly seems like it.
Yeah. For week one, he had that cheesy mid-silent pick, but this week playing something a little more common, a little bit more meta. Played Oriana very well. So good job to him as well. But let's jump into this draft. So game one, starting off week three here, it's gonna be Waifu Superstar on the blue side going up against Boy Butter on the purple side. Waifu Superstar going in this is 1-1, and Boy Butter is at the bottom of the table actually at 0-2. Not the best start they would have expected here. Um, Quickly, let's I guess go over band champions. Lux Pantheon Nocturne for Superstar, and then Renekton, Jarvan, and Alistar for Boy Butter. So a couple target bands there at AGS0 in the top lane with Renekton and Jarvan. What do you think of these bands so far?
I mean, I like the two on Swift just because get him off of a comfort champion that he can kind of autopilot on, and then because I think he's the shot caller on that team, despite what they say. I honestly think he's attempting to shot call from the top lane, and Tree is just kind of trying to facilitate that. But if he's on something less familiar to him, obviously you have to spend more time laning and less time focusing on the rest of the map. So I think that's a good job on their part, getting him off something comfortable. On the other side, banning Lux, that's at Cruise. Pantheon, they don't want Splinter on that, and they don't want Splinter on the 12 longsword Nocturne of Death. Um, so I think all the bands are targeted. They're also strong in meta picks for the most part.
Yeah, no, that's true actually. Like the only one that I guess really isn't a top tier pick would be Renekton. But I mean, I think Renekton's very good, and Swift is also very good at it. But by the time we're just finishing talking about the bands, the draft's pretty much over. One thing I want to touch on while you're giving that beautiful explanation of the bands is that HSER just like straight insta locked Fiora top, and Fiora top really dangerous today. What do you think of that?
I liked it until Dan locked in Kale.
Ooh. So yeah, Dan with the overall last pick on the purple side here. He counter picks with Kale. Enlighten me, if you may.
This is literally just going to be a straight up skill matchup. Who can outperform who? Because obviously Swift can bait the ult, and then just peel off. So he has to be careful with how he's ulting Dan, and then Dan can just lay down the DPS from range and just kind of hot. I call it hot cold, where you get really super aggressive and then back off. So you can bait the ability. You know, it's going to be a lot of ability baiting on both sides.
Yeah, absolutely. That might be the key matchup to watch in this match. But let's not forget about all these other players on the Rift. So I guess just rounding out Waifu Superstars lineup, they have Sejuani in the jungle, Tree on Leona, Salvo on Sivir, and Wang on LeBlanc. I love this team comp on paper. I without even looking at Boy Butter's team comp, this is awesome. I love this team fight comp. It has potential to 1-4 split push with Salvo. I mean, technically, it even has like a 1-3-1 split push element if Wang for some reason got super far ahead, but Wang will just want to be like staying grouped with the Sivir, with the Sejuani engaged, and just be getting into that backline. And
Right.
to talk about the backline, Boy Butter, their comp, Master Splinter in the Shyvana jungle, Manlore. Okay, well actually let's first talk about this. Caking is not playing this game, guys. It's Manlord the Miracle and Cruise Master. So Boy Butter in 3 weeks in a row have come with a different lineup. What do you think the impacts of this is going to be, Scotch?
I mean, I really feel like it's just a case of growing pains, and they're trying to find out like what their best starting situation is and who. And sometimes it's not about like who wins lanes, it's about who performs well in the team fights and stuff. And I obviously haven't sat in their voice comms, but obviously they're, it seems like every week they're just trying something different to see what happens in these pressure situations, to see if somehow they all of a sudden just figure it out, you know.
Yeah, I totally agree. It will be interesting because Joe will be switching over from support. I believe he played both supports. Or no, wait. What did he? Yeah, well, he's playing AD this game. Where usually all of last season he played the support role. He's playing Ezreal. Like I said, Manlor on support Braum, Cruise Master on a very very comfortable pick in the mid lane as Karma, and then Dan, like you said, Kale top lane. Now this team competition is a little more finesse. It's not the straight like here's the team fight. I'm Sivir, Sejuani, and Leona. This is a lot of poke. It's essentially a poke comp with Kale and Karma and Ezreal, and then
I
with
think
some
he
good
can
disengage with Braum.
team fight really well though. It's gonna be, if they can bait enough abilities onto like Braum or Shyvana. Like if they can get the Sejuani ult or the Leona ult or the CC suite onto like Braum or Shyvana, the other ones can absolutely do work in the background. Or even Kale, because Kale can just alter. Well, it doesn't really matter. They can do it on anybody because the Kale ult, they
That's
can
that.
throw it on anybody, and then Karma can just get everybody out, and they can start throwing skill shots and kiting the crap out of the other team. Of course, then there's a Sivir on the other team, so you know this is going to be a very very brawly game.
Yeah,
This is gonna be all over the place.
yeah, like there's a lot of speed. I mean, I guess Sivir is really the only one that goes super fast on Waifu Superstar, but like you said, like Kale, Cruz or Kale and Karma and Shyvana, those champions move very fast, and then just the mobility of Ezreal in general. Um, it's gonna be hard to actually get to whatever target they want because, like you said, they just go in and out. Karma speeding you up, Kale speeding you up, Kale out to bait it out. Splinter, let's talk about him for a second here. So he, coming into the season, high expectations like always. The Splinter plays fantastically well in the SBL. Started off 0-2, going into week 3, not the best start ever, but now he is on a just like just get on my dragon wings and I'll carry you home,
Oh
baby.
yeah,
He is on his rock hard Shyvana pick. What do you think about this?
I love this pick. I'm surprised they didn't ban it out. I mean, this is like when all else fails, Splinter's just gonna get Devour, get Dragon, get Rift Scuttler, or Rift Herald, get the Scuttles. He's just gonna take everything, and then Kragen's gonna be like, "Guys, my entire jungle's gone because I was sitting bottom waiting for a Sejuani ult."
Yeah, that's true. I mean, just talking strictly in the jungle v jungle matchup, Sejuani incredibly weak early on. Has a very very slow clear. Shyvana on the other hand, probably rivals Udyr. I don't know which one's faster. They're both way too fast for their own
I
good.
I think they're both fast enough.
Yeah, they're both fast enough, and yeah, and Master Splinter, if he plays the game that he always does, he will be in the enemy jungle a lot of the time, just taking as many camps as he can, basically, and putting the pressure down on the map as best he can with Shyvana, who doesn't really have the best ganks early on. But here we are, we're loaded on the Rift, folks. Game one of week 3 of the SBL begins now.
They got that early ward out and River spotted it out. I guess they grouped up 5 to just see if somebody wanted to, was brave enough to come out into River. They could combo him, but it
Yeah.
looks like it's fairly safe. Dan's running up to check that red, make sure there aren't any shenanigans going on. Oh, he actually drops a ward there, the far side of red.
Yeah. Just for, I guess, a late invade.
Yeah.
But Waifu Superstar, they are playing it very safe. Line defense, yeah, they definitely don't have the best level 1 in the world, and they do have to protect, like Sejuani I was mentioning there, and yeah, standard lanes. I feel in LCS and like professional games, they actually can talk about lane swaps and stuff. We can't here in the SBL. I don't think there will ever be a lane swap this season.
I mean, it might happen. Somebody might do it.
Yeah, well, maybe actually.
Oh.
And now we know it's the SBL for real because it is the first hashtag pause of the game. Brought to you by Bad Dragon, our one of our many sponsors. Actually, we have lots of sponsors. All right, looks like Splinter has resolved his technical issues. We had our crew switch out his entire PC in that pause.
Yep, the LCS is actually contacting us to try and get our pit crew onto the professional scene since we are astronomically faster than them.
That is very true.
On the computer swap outs. I you know, in the first 2 games, I can't remember who Splinter was up against, but I feel like Splinter might have lost some of his teeth, to put it eloquently. I really want to see him go into Kragen's jungle and just start taking things from him, regardless of where he sees Kragen on the map. Just like it's a Shyvana versus a Sejuani, and it's a low gold versus a diamond. Just you can beat him.
Yeah.
Kick his butt, dude.
That's true. I think Splitter really needs to play with no fear this game, and he just needs to step up and be as aggressive as possible to basically instill fear in the enemy team.
Exactly. You're not even safe in your own jungle.
Yeah, and wow, there's a lot of harass going down in the mid lane there. Wang, he goes in, tries to lay down the harass on Cruz, but then Cruz just answers nicely with some Karma Poke on the way out, and he has used all of his potions.
Yeah, Cruz is
still sitting at 2.
Cruz is doing a really good job here in mid on a comfort pick.
Yeah, maybe
that's
Wang's
the thing
a little disrespect there. I don't know if that's like the best way to lane as LeBlanc early on.
Yeah, this pick was kind of questionable to me because I didn't
Craig
know
coming
Wang
in here in the
could play.
mid lane. Wang actually lays down the tether onto Cruz Master, and Red Buff is ticking. Cruz has the flash over wall, but first blood going over to Wang. So good gank execution from Kragen to start off this game, and 1-0 over to Waifu Superstar.
That's who you wanted on.
Yeah, that's actually. I mean, yeah, maybe that's why. Maybe there's some mind trickery in there, like sort of forcing Cruz to play further up. Like Cruz is like, oh yeah, I'm winning this matchup really well. Starts pushing in on Wang. Wang is just an expert bait, really. How could I have doubted him?
How could I have? Although I was really surprised because I did not know Wang to play LeBlanc. But you've known Wang longer than I have. I thought his champions in mid were much more of the spellcaster, rangy type.
And
characters.
That's what he's kind of always defaulted to. But like you said, I have known him play mid for a really long time. I did play with him on a team that was very competitive, and he played a lot of assassins. This is back in the day. He loves Talon, actually. He's really good at Talon. And yeah, he has played LeBlanc in the past. So he likes assassins, but I think he just realizes that they're not always the best pick, which is smart.
Yeah, that's important. I mean, I love Singed, but I'm not going to pick him every game.
Yeah, exactly. So things have settled down there since that first blood in the mid lane. Splinter has just been farming it up. 20 CS, already went back, got that skirmisher saber. Lane's all looking pretty even here. Actually, never mind. Swift taking a commanding CS lead, almost 10 up on Dan here. But it is a huge wave piling up, so hopefully Dan can answer some of this back.
Yeah, I think the Fiora wins that matchup early, and as the Kayle gets more items, she'll slowly start choking the Fiora out, unless the Fiora gets far enough ahead where she can just straight up bite him.
Mm-hmm.
Like here, we're already seeing some of the harass. The Kale the Kale needs levels and items, and the Fiora is, I, I view it as strictly a skill matchup from level 1.
Okay, yeah.
Like
Oh,
Fiora and
trade
Renekton
lands is
are.
needed. Laid onto
Oh,
Albino Joe in the backline. Mandler trying to shield some damage, but the trade will go in favor of Waifu Superstar. Albino Joe, he's like totally out of mana. So he has to try to last it the best he can here.
yeah, this might be some growing pains for him too. I can't remember the last time he's AD'd, so he
Mm-hmm.
might not remember. Oh, I don't have mana all the time because I'm not supporting.
Yeah, that's true, and especially on a sort of a mechanic intensive AD. Like, I mean, I like Ezreal. I play him a lot. I think
I
he's easier than people give him credit for, but there are some tendencies you have to kind of know, and mana management is definitely one of them. Wayne going in, he actually lays down the tether onto Cruz and just lays down some good harass.
I like the Ezreal. We got a
Yeah,
dive.
Splinter
And they're
here
level
with
6.
Dan
This
in the
is
top
free.
lane. Swift tries to repost something,
Level
but it
6.
doesn't matter.
They don't
I'm
even
just
blow the.
whacks him with the Kale blades, and oh, the Ignite goes down onto Craig and
Oh.
try to warn him off there from
Not
the
even
tower.
close, baby.
Yeah, nice. Good evade out of Cruise Master there.
That was such a good dive top. Dan was 6 and Swift was not. That was free.
Oh yeah, you're right. Huge level
And they
advantage there.
didn't even. I don't think they even used the. Oh, they did use the ult. Okay. I don't
That's
think
good.
they needed
You know why?
to,
I guess
but-
why would you not use the ult? Because it just
Yeah.
saves some damage. You know, it's a pretty short cooldown as well.
And they got the TP, so they don't have to worry about the 4-man bottom shenanigans.
That's true. Yeah, no, Dan with the TP advantage, so he now does have that option. Gale, maybe not the best, TP gank, but I mean, it is something, especially with an ult. It can really turn around a 2v2 in the bottom lane here. Mandler, he lays down the passive on Salvo, and he gets stunned up. The Mystic Shot goes left, though. The exhaust come out for both of them. Zenith Blade tried to warding off Mandler, but he's going hard. He's going hard in the paint, and they might have to back up here.
Answer a little bit more damage.
Yeah,
I think if Joe would have landed that first Q at the beginning, they could have committed fully to that.
That's true, actually, yeah.
But they ended up committing a little too hard, and man,
yeah,
Salvo's
Joe
saying,
the back
"Hey,
and
you
forth
might have
on
got
that
me
boomerang.
once, but just get out of my face."
Yeah.
Oh, Dragon goes for a little cheeky might invade.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna get that on Splinter.
I think if he would have got that, Splitter would have just rage ulted him and killed him.
Yeah, then we would have
Give
needed
it
to get
back.
another computer in there with our tech crew because he would have destroyed his.
Oh man.
Oh, once again, Wang is now really punishing him. That first blood really elevated him into a power position in this mid lane here. He's got the Forbidden Idol and the Fiendish Codex.
Yeah, I think Cruz needs to start getting going for Abyssal or something like that, because he just needs the magic resist, so the LeBlanc can't just straight up win trades,
Yeah. Yeah, he's got the 2 fairy charms there. So he's just looking for, mana regen so he can just wave clear. And he is keeping pretty close in CS. So, I mean, this lane is definitely not over. It's salvageable. And really, I guess Boybutter, really all they're looking for is to scale into the late game. Because they definitely scale harder. As far as like a couple champions go, like Shyvana's going to scale real well, Ezreal's going to scale well, and then Kayle. But in a team fight scenario, those beefy front lines really do go the mile in those late game team fights. What do you think here? Oh my god!
What I think is
goes
Cruz is
down.
dead.
That was so quick. Wang just touched him a little bit with the tether to the Ignite as well, and another kill goes over to Wang. While this is happening, though, Splinter picks up the solo dragon. Dragon
Please,
for a dragon
the love
there.
of God, Cruz, pick up some magic resist.
Yeah, well, he got he got the Forbidden Idol. He's working on the same items as Wang here, and he's got the boots.
He wants that Morello's, but he's not going to live to use it.
Yeah. Anyway, God, what was I even? Yeah, okay. So in the late game scenario, who do you think wins here? Like, as far as
It
these
really
comps
depends
scale?
on how the team fights shake out, because I would say the Sivir used to not be a hyper carry, but I've seen her get into these fights where Ricochet Blade is bouncing on everybody and critting on everything, and you're like, oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, Selva actually just ulted there with Tree. I think Tree used the Solar Flare as well. I think they were looking for a kill on Joe, but I think Joe probably just... Oh, he actually used the Flash as well. So my direct cam, I didn't see it. I don't know if you saw it.
Oh, I did not either.
All right. Well, that's what happened down there in the bottom lane. But to
I'll
go back to
believe
your
you.
point, I totally agree. I totally forget. Ricochet now, the bounces, like you said, can crit, and so Sivir, huge late game carry now.
Oh.
Not only just with utility, but with also damage as well. And yeah, that's 3/4 of Cruz Match's life from one trade there. Now the CS deficit begins. Wayne can basically just zone him off the wave for free.
Yeah, 20 CS up and 2 kills in mid lane. That LeBlanc is getting big.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Splinter is not as ahead as I'd hoped. Oh, top lane.
Oh yeah, Kraken going in on Dan here? No fight. Splinter was also there for the counter
Splinter
gank.
just showed up and they decided, nah, man, you got it.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's the
Dan now
last
actually.
thing you want is getting into those early game skirmishes with the Shyvana, because that's how she takes over games.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you don't need to feed her any more than she's already being fed just from jungle monsters.
Yeah. Although I'm surprised they're not trying to. Oh, that is some damage. Trying to
Yeah.
get this Rift Herald onto Splinter.
Yeah. That is interesting. That would really boost him up, like totally
It's only
elevate.
worth
Get
2
that.
now, though, right? So it's
I
not a
believe, yeah, that went
huge deal.
through. Yeah. Oh,
Might
Kraken up
just.
here in the top lane tries to bait into
Oh,
something
nice
onto Dan,
flash.
but the Sejuani ult goes wide. But it's a good flash out of Dan there to dodge it. So, man, these lanes
of
are very
trading.
trade intensive. Like lots of trades back and forth. There's no lane that's just like passively farming.
Let's. I'm looking at CS again. Again, Wang is just destroying
Yeah.
Cruz
Yeah,
in this
now
mid
he's
lane.
really
Everything
taking it
else
over.
is pretty close. Um, Dan has a little bit of a CS lead. That's good to see because I think like I said, I think he's going to get stronger than the Fiora is later on. So it's nice to see him starting to get taken over. But he got the refillable potion, and I don't see that this late like ever.
Hmm. Yeah, that's really true. And I mean, yeah, just the fact that it's a melee versus essentially a ranged matchup. Yeah, the more items that Dan will get, the easier it will be to kite the Fiora. Actually, fun fact here. Flaps pointed out in chat that killing the Herald gives 2 stacks, but if you assist in killing the Herald, you get 5 stacks. So that's some good old spaghetti code for you.
Huh.
Yeah. I don't know if they know that. I didn't know that. I don't think it's gonna matter because I don't know if anyone's really gonna get a Rift Herald this game. I mean, they still
Yeah.
got some time here. Tower's really low here for Dan. And
Oh,
yeah,
looks like they want to dive.
yeah, Swift is respecting this because he
But
might
he's got a
assume
nice
Splinter's
pink
around.
ward here.
Yeah.
Although it looks like they might know about it the way. Oh no, they don't. He was just
Yeah.
getting Grump.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he'll take this pink ward. Thank you very much for your
Yep.
donation to the Splinter Jungle Fund.
Yeah, and yep, Swift respecting that dive. He has to just back up and give the tower. Ezreal flies down the bottom lane trying to save the bot tower, but it does not happen. So,
Oh, looks
overall,
like they might get there just in time.
oh
and
yeah,
they,
Tasha
they're
goes down to
throwing
Trees.
down.
Trees has to try to fight back. The teleport came out of Dan. The exhaust instantly goes down. The Brombolt knocks back Kragen's dash there, and and two-man Sejuani ult to start the fight off, and Kale that's popped, and no death so far, but Albano Joe's still going in. He's got the passive
Joe.
onto Kragen, and he gets the kill, and Splinter's here in the bottom lane. Dragon ults in.
Oh, that
Zipper
is bad.
spell shield blocks it, and what a
Just
risky
Dragon
dive.
flew into a Fed LeBlanc under tower.
Wow. I mean, everything was going great for Boy Butter. It was like, yeah, they won the fight. Splinter's like, yeah, I got my double kill down here. Nope. Wang was there, really punished. That was a really greedy move out of Splinter. Like, I mean, he's an aggressive player, right? Let's get that out on the table. But that was a whole other level I've never even seen of him.
I mean, on paper, just looking at that, I would have said that was a great play, and then I would have looked at my mini map and said, "Oh, where's Wang?" And then I would have died. I think that's honestly what happened. Is he had blood in his eyes and he was diving that turret for that double kill because he could have.
Yeah.
And then he looked at his mini map and wondered where his mid lane opponent was.
Yeah, I guess the better question, where was Cruz in that? And I don't know if there was any communication there. I think Cruz might have been walking back to lane. I'm not sure, but
Yeah, it seems
Um,
likely that that was the case, considering how bad he's taken trades here.
yeah, and he
He
can't
finally
enter
got
the
his
roam.
Morellos.
He can't like walk side by side down the river, otherwise Wang will just kill him again.
Yeah.
And oh, with that bottom lane there, Wang picks up another kill
Oh,
onto
it looks
Splinter,
like
so
they're
he's
on
3
Dragon.
and 0, and so he's really getting big here. I don't think there's a one. There's definitely not a 1v1 threat right now. I mean, maybe Dan, obviously with his ultimate. Waifu Superstar, they're gonna pick that dragon up for free while everyone on Boy Butter is back. Teleport was down for Dan, so they knew that as well.
Touching on after that fight, we were talking about it earlier, and we got distracted. I really like the Ezreal pick on Joe. I think Joe's very good with skill shots, and if he has to AD, put him on a champion that he can use skill shots to the maximum potency.
Nice, yeah. You really did. He did some work that fight, knowing the limits of how far he can go, and he saw the low health members, and he went in and took out Kragen's life here. He is keeping up in CS with Salvo as well, which is really good. It's a hard matchup overall, just as far as the games
Oh,
go, because Salvo has such great wave clear. Spell Thieves blocks some things.
oh, and
Solar
they
Flare
blew
goes out
both
to
of
try to
those. That's
disengage.
huge ultimates.
Yeah.
They should go look for a fight right now immediately on
Mhm.
anything.
Yeah, that's big there. Oh, it's Splinter knew Kragen was in there with the pink
And
ward.
Kragen is going to pay for his crimes, I think.
Yeah. Oh, red
Oh,
buff ticking. It's
no.
Splinter gets the kill.
Yeah.
Oh, Kragen
Splinter
thought he had
says-
like the last second flash hit to survive. Oh,
Oh.
my god. Cruise Master has to flash out Wang, delivering the pain.
Please, Cruz, when you go back, buy just a null magic, anything, please.
Yeah.
You don't need boots. Being faster isn't gonna save you.
No, not from LeBlanc. That goes in so fast. You're not gonna dodge a point and click damage spell.
And I really like this out of Boy Butter. They realize these ults are down, and they're going to take as much as they can here. Doesn't look like they have quite the damage yet on this tower, but
Oh, but
they
yeah,
might
they can get it with
this
this
wave because Salvo backed for some reason halfway down the wave.
Yeah.
Like he just assumed that the tower was going down. He probably could have saved it if he would have went up there and boomerang bladed the next wave, but
Yeah, exactly. A little late there out of Salvo, but he got low from that scuffle in the river. Yeah, and they just had to back, I guess. Maybe he had a good item break point. Oh, he does. Whoa. Let's talk about this. This is some interesting item builds. So IE first on Salvo, or on Sivir.
okay.
Actually is not the common build nowadays. Usually most Sivers go Essence Reaver. Because Essence Reaver is just a very good item for ADs that like to use abilities. But he went cooldown boots. Huh.
I mean, I guess he wanted both of the big items, and he knew he couldn't buy both of them.
Huh. Okay. Well, interesting. I do appreciate innovation here at the SBL.
Innovation at its finest.
Yeah, because usually you do Essence Reaver with the cooldown boots. But
Maybe he's gonna pick up both eventually, but
yeah,
he
that's,
wanted the
that's also
cooldown
true.
now.
Eh,
And he said,
uh-huh.
"What are Berserker Greaves gonna really give me here?"
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I guess cool thing about that is that you get more spell shields, and he's had to use it a lot this game, and he has been using it well. But there's just so many abilities flying out of Boy Butter that you need more.
Oh,
With the
I
respect
don't know if
flash out
he
of
needed the
Dan.
flash there.
Yeah. Did he
He
have...
had ult. He could have just sat there and just went to town on him, and then ulted himself when Swift had to all in him. But it looks like Dan's just giving him the utmost respect. He doesn't want to see this Fiora get rolling.
Yeah, and a little sneaky
Oh,
bait around the corner,
That
denying
was
the
really
vision.
nice getting out of there.
Yeah.
Holy Jesus.
Sejuani ult does land, but there was enough disengage. Actually, Mandler didn't even blow the glacial fissure. Oh, Ezreal comes in with a good wave clear out of Karma.
I think we're going to see a fight here.
Yep, here we go, Repose.
Oh, here we go.
And still going. He has the E
And
activate
get him.
going on to Swift. Swift has to flash out. And the ultimate wasn't used for Kale or Fiora.
Yeah, if he wouldn't have flashed earlier, he would have had that right now, and that'd be a dead Fiora. But
Yeah, you're right. That's totally right. Rift.
I always in top lane, it's so swinging. You're always in isolation. It's better to just not let your lane opponent start snowballing on you because you are essentially alone up there. So if you poop the bed, you're gonna do it really hard because no one's gonna come bail you out. Really.
That's exactly, yeah. It's oh man, yeah, top lane gives me anxiety, man. It's so embarrassing when you die up there.
Yeah.
Scotch, I don't know how you do it, man. It's
But you hide under your turret mostly, and then you just make plea bargains with your jungler.
yeah, and then you
Come
you
on,
press
man. First blood. It's all yours.
you press your teleport key, and you're like, hey guys, I contribute.
I'm in bot lane now. This is my life.
Hey, I got this ticket to the Clown Fiesta in bottom lane. Am I in the right spot? Yeah, you're here. You're good. Now let's have a 5v5 randomly in the bot lane.
Your R key's working, right? All right, good.
Yeah. Good, yeah. Press that R key. Okay. Now recall and go back to your island. Oh, Solar Flare comes out.
Top
Season Blade
lane.
lands
Ooh.
as well. Dan has to use the Kale ult to try to survive this, but I don't think he's gonna survive this. No, Grand Challenge came out and Swift easily picks up the kill. So good roam out a tree there to abuse a kind of long lane for Dan, but he was pretty close to the tower.
Yeah, they just
once again,
pinned him up against the wall, and it's Leona, so...
Yeah, and once again, we could just harken back to if he still had that flash. He could have had a kill, or if he hadn't used it there, he could have survived.
Now that we're out of laning phase, I might have to eat my words about Cruz, because he's bopping salvo pretty good here in these siege situations. I'm surprised. It looks like Splinter doesn't even want to fight. He wants stuff.
He wants the stacks. Well, he is sated. Oh man, Wang laying down the deeps, half healthing Cruise Master.
Joe, you really need to watch out here.
Albano's really answering back though. He's not afraid. Kragan's in the mid lane. No ult goes out. I mean, so overall, let's just take stake at the game here. It's actually a 1K gold lead for Boy Butter at this point in the game. It's tied up in towers and dragons.
Is it all on Splinter? Oh, it is all on Splinter. 80 to 124. Yep.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. He's really just rocketing away with the gold, and he went Titanic Hydra, which is, I guess I haven't really seen a Shyvana in Season 6 a lot, so I don't really know what they build. And obviously, I knew Devourer, but
I
Titanic
think it's
Hydra.
good with the Devourer just because you can get more Titanic hits out. Any attack speed with Titanic Hydra is really good, and it's Well, he's sated, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So he doesn't need this dragon. It's just not worth it to fight against a Leona Sivir comp.
Right. Yep. That's exactly a good point.
And getting the TP out of Swift.
Sejuani goes out onto Joe, but he was very much in a safe place behind his towers. His blade also misses. So, Waifu Superstar, they were looking for the engage there, but Boy Butter playing it safe. They gave up the dragon, like you said, and they did split push with the 1-3-1 there. Dan put some pressure on the top lane, and while that was happening, Splinter actually picked up a tower in the bottom lane. So a tower advantage going over to Boy Butter, and they still have the gold lead, and then there goes the tier 2 top lane. And just like that, it's a 3K gold lead, but Dan used the kill out to block all of Wang's damage. And Dan
he
can't
doesn't commit to it.
Dan,
come on, be a man. You can put him down. Oh, no, you
Kragan
can't.
comes in from behind. Splinter finds himself in a bad place. 3 members of Waifu Superstar going in on
He's
him.
a Shyvana. That's basically Sage.
Yeah.
He can run away.
Oh, and the poke comp comes out. Sieging mid lane here. Manlor tanking the tower.
And Joe is doing work
relatively
now.
easy tower take.
And he is really, really close to that Menominee.
That what?
Or, what's it turned into? The Manamune.
Ah, yeah.
Menominee.
Oh, God. I know that place. Yeah, well,
He's about 50 away.
Yeah. And he picks up the Iceborne, and now is working on the Blade of the Ruin King, so very standard blue build Ezreal for Albino Joe. And he's doing great, man. Just kill for himself.
I'm surprised he's been playing this safe, and with how aggressive, or what his kill score is, with how aggressive he's been poking people like Leona and Sejuani out. He just seems to be very comfortable on this pick.
Yeah.
He's just in the zone.
Yeah, that's a good point to bring up. Yeah, it's just pure comfort for him at this point. It's like riding a bike. He just does. Yeah, Salvo, but he's doing well as well. He's wave clearing pretty well. He's going for, rapid fire can up, stack shift. I don't even, I still don't know these items in season 6. Yeah. Stack shift. That's pretty standard. Even more wave clear on top of your wave clear if you didn't want enough wave clear.
Yeah, with how team fight focused and skirmish focused the game is now, I really prefer the static shiv on AD carries now versus the rapid fire cannon. You just don't get in situations where you're fighting for turrets. You're more fighting because you found somebody in the jungle and everybody shows up to party.
Mm-hmm.
Dan's on the bottom half now. Oh, looks like top lane switched to bottom lane.
Yep.
Doing the same dance, just on the other side.
Dan here waiting in the shadows in the jungle, goes in on Swift, but the director camera goes top lane, and there was no fight bottom.
Just some poking. I was gonna say, there's a lot of pink wards out in the jungle, and no one on the red team here is kind of looking around for him.
Oh, Sivril is pop, Kragan going in. Sage
that was great initiation.
Yeah.
Oh my god. They ran in, and Manlore and Joe and Cruz just threw all their crap at them and said, see you later.
Yeah. Karma with the speed up too, yeah, and Manlore with the soul. He didn't even have to use his ultimate to try to disengage, but they did rotate on the soul Master Splinter in the top lane, and he will get punished for that.
Look how much tower damage they're getting.
I don't know, maybe not enough. They didn't get a tower for it, but Swift actually came up to try to answer with the full team fight, but Dan is just hammering down at the top lane, or bottom lane tower.
They didn't get a tower, but everything's down to half, so they can literally pick whatever lane they want to, and if they pressure it hard enough, that tower will go down.
Yeah.
Well, they have to pick the lane that Siver's not in.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, Sivir and Leona and Sejuani, because those three will be a trio. Looking for the fights. Kragan picking up
with
that
ZZ
Rot portal, yeah, and he uses it as sort of like a plunger, as a stopper, essentially in that top lane. So top lane won't push in onto the inhib tower now. Hopefully, Boybutter will realize that and take it out, because it's gonna stay like that until you take out the portal. That's how good of an item that is nowadays. A lot of junglers and top laners are picking that up. And everything's slowed down. Some nice peaceful
recalls. Yeah, it seems like
I
don't know where Cruz got his farm, but he's down only 20 now on Wang, which is a good deal. I thought he was going to be fairly useless in this mid game just because of how laning phase went, but that's all right. Cruz, I got a question. What's going on with the Morello's into cup? You don't need that much mana regen.
I don't know, maybe you do. And the Braum ult hits on the very tip, though. And he fails
he's dead.
The
Put him down.
Or the dash. I don't know what. It fails over the wall.
Fiora's as good as you make her. And that can go both ways.
Yeah, and that's really big. This is essentially a power play for Boybutter. Now that the top laner's down, they got 36 seconds to do whatever they want.
No, don't back.
But they're recalling. That's
turret.
Yeah. I mean, Mandler was low. Was Dan even low?
I don't care if you have 3K. Go push a turret.
Yeah. Oh, man. I bet Swift right now is just chuckling. He's just laughing. He's looking at the map like, okay, where are they?
Top quality kick.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they just wanted this dragon. What is this for him? 2?
This is not what they wanted. They wanted to finish off those towers.
If they would have ran to Baron, then I'd be all about that. But they just got dragon, and frankly, I'm kind of over it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I mean, a dragon's a dragon. It'll help. They're still up 4K here. Surprisingly, still down a kill. They've always been down like just 1 kill, but that doesn't really matter to Boybutter at this point.
Yeah, it looks Dan's starting to creep away from Swift. It looks like that Kale is just starting to choke out. Oh,
yeah. Grand Challenge comes out, and Dan, he stands still, uses the Kale ultimate, but Swift goes back in. Dan has to flash out, and he actually picks up the solo 1v1 kill on Dan. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Cruz went down to an engage, and Boybutter, they've lost 2 just instantly.
Does Fiora have an attack speed slow in her kit somewhere? I don't play Fiora a lot,
Yeah,
so
I think so. I think
okay.
Riposte is really broken and has like a bunch of stuff built into it, like a slow, and it blocks the spell, obviously. And then I think it slows attack speed. Why not? You know, why not just give Fiora
Because
some
it
more
just,
tools?
it looked like Dan was going to start teeing off on her, and all of a sudden he just started attacking really, really slowly.
Oh
So
yeah,
I
you're
guess
right.
that's something about the matchup that I'm not familiar with. So maybe,
Yeah.
oh,
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 Splinter
caught
stopped
you
the
at
back.
Macy's,
Whoa!
man. You
Whoa!
don't.
He's a
Oh,
dragon.
he's
Doesn't
a
matter.
dragon.
Riposte is not gonna
He's gonna
block.
get this eventually.
Dragon breath. Ah!
I'm a
Oh.
dragon.
Oh damn! You know, Swift was probably shopping. He was,
Yeah,
you know.
he was at Macy's, man, picking out his new shoes. Winner just said, "Hey, what's going on, buddy? Yeah, check
Yeah.
out down this lane."
Yeah. Yeah. What is there a attack speed? That attack speed flow was brutal. Yeah, you're right. Dan just slowed to a crawl there, attack speed wise. And he has it. He has 3 items that give him. He has 4 items that give him attack speed.
Yeah. You need to chunk dead is how I thought that matchup would go, but apparently I don't know something that I should.
No, I'm looking it up, dude. This I have to know this now.
We're doing lab work at this point.
Yeah.
Let's see. Cruz is, you know, they need to start taking some of Splinter's farm or jungle or something, because Cruz is starting to become. Both mid laners are not getting any farm because they're both just sitting mid and doodling around.
Well, I think I know. I think Cruz knows where all of his farm's going. It's going to Master Splinter or
And the Splinter Bank
Splinter.
Trust.
Yeah, and the
Oh,
wards
and the
go
Baron.
down for Boy Butter here, and the Baron is started, but there is a blue ward in the pit, so Waifu Superstar, they do know that this is happening, and they have the engage, they have Leona and Sejuani, and
Holy crap,
they
did
will
you see
force
how
them
fast
out.
they did that, though?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that
mean-
that is scary. If you're not within 10 seconds of that thing, it's gone.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what they were trying to do there. Yeah, Vlad helped me out
But they're
too,
going to
and I
answer
looked
with a
it up.
nice...
By
nice
the way,
push down the
Fiora
mid.
ripost, 50% attack speed slow.
That's dumb.
Yeah,
It's better than Malphite's. I think.
Is it?
Don't quote me on it. I don't know.
I
I don't know. Don't quote me on it. Never mind. I take it back.
Okay, but you take half of all attack speed that Dan just had, which is a metric fuck ton, and you half a metric fuck ton. That's not
That's-
as much.
No.
I know, it's riveting. It really blows your mind, the statement I just made, but yeah, man, Fiora with the good abilities there. Thank you, Riot Design Team.
Kale just needs to dodge that riposte and he'll win every time. But I guess if he doesn't, then Fiora's going to win it. So we have a good old case of who can outplay who.
Yeah. Both teams have started as
Oh, Malphite,
waddling.
Blab is dropping the knowledge for us. Malphite attack speed slow is 30, rank 1, and it maxes at 50. So I don't know what riposte starts at, if that's just
50.
innately...
It's
at
50.
Well, that's fair. That's fun.
Okay, to be fair though, Fiora is the Grand Duelist, and we've had some discussions about this on Facebook. I know On the Wind speaks. He's for Fiora. He's not against Fiora like most of the Reddit circle jerk. You know, the champion that's supposed to win all the duels in the game does. You know, I guess that makes sense. But I feel like she can team fight pretty well as well. You know, like the Grand Challenge is really good.
Yeah.
As long as you can get to your target.
I feel like the people that are against her are just having PTSD about when Riven was really good, and it's like, oh, she crushes her lane, and then she walks into a 1v4 and kills everyone.
Oh, Cruz,
and Cruz
with the
just
respect
flashes away.
flash. Oh,
It says, no thank you, Craig, and I don't want anything from you.
Yeah, but his whole team was not even there. I mean, I knew Craig wasn't going to press the button, but I guess Cruz might have thought otherwise. So flash down for free there. It's a little something for Waifu Superstar, and they gotta really cling on to the little somethings because they are down by 5k here. Next dragon comes up in about 23 seconds, and I don't know, maybe Boy Butter is just sort of stalling out here because they have to get the split push going.
I really feel like the 5 dragon strat is off the table. I don't see.
It's gonna
this
take
game.
so long. I mean, they're only at 2.
You need to rotato potato this team so that you can get Splinter and Dan top.
Oh, Solar Flare lands on Albino Joe, and he will
Oh,
flash
and
out.
Joe still
Exhaust
gets
is out
out.
as well. Mandlore trying to disengage, trying to help his friend out, but both of them will pay the price. And 2 kills go over to Waifu Superstar when they were trying to push on that mid lane.
Was that the whole kitchen sink?
Yeah, that seemed like the whole Well, no, actually, Sivir didn't use
Salvo's
ult
got
there.
his ult. Huh.
Solar
Well, this
Flare
is a
was
scary
used, Exhaust
situation.
was used, Sejuani
And
ult.
this is exactly what you want to see. Dan and Splinter saying, okay, you guys might have won that, but we're going to destroy your base for this.
Master Splinter, Grand Challenge gets popped, and
Holy
actually,
Jesus.
Yeah, I think he's gonna win that. You know, she is the grand duelist. Oh, Wang has to flash out though. Dan laying down the damage. While 3 members of Waifu Superstar, they're gonna try to answer here in the mid lane. They will get that inhib tower.
It's like everybody forgot about the riposte, and everybody is using their abilities right away, and everything is getting riposted.
Yep. And Dan has
And
a long lane here. He has to flash away from Wang's damage.
I just wouldn't expect that out of Splinter. I'd feel like he would be able to bait that out of Swift and then punish him for it. But apparently Swift is king, and everybody else has no idea how to play against this champion.
That's true. You know, maybe that's why Fiora does so well. So, I mean, people just don't know what the abilities do, like us. I had no idea Repulse slowed your
I mean,
attack
I know
speed.
it's a stupid ability, but
Yeah.
it's a really stupid ability now.
Yeah. Honestly, they could probably take all the other text of that ability away and just say block.
She wins.
Block a spell, and that'd still be good.
Yeah. It blocks even summoner abilities, doesn't it?
What? Like,
I'm pretty sure
Ignite?
when they reworked her, they were like, yeah, it blocks Exhaust and Ignite, that's an intended... Because people are like, Riposta's broken, it's blocking summoner spells. I'm pretty sure. Unless that got changed.
Yeah. Well, also another fun fact on the wind: the Fiora supporter. He must have heard me. He wasn't even online, but telepathically knew someone is shit talking Fiora. I must go. And you can QSS the Fiora ult. You can QSS a lot of abilities, guys, but you don't always have a QSS on hand. I don't always bring.
Do you really want to
to
get a QSS? Well, we got. You really want to just get a QSS just because Fiora? I don't know. I feel like that's exclusive to Warwick and Malzahar. That's all they do. They're not great champions, but they make the other team only get 5 items.
Yeah, well, times are changing. Scotch here, and the Silver ult has popped, and they're looking for the fight in the choke point, but they're not going to find it. Kragen's still leading the charge, not going to pull the trigger.
That was Sivir ult, and they seemed like they were going so slow.
Yeah, it actually
That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Even with a dead man's plate, what's going on there?
Yeah. To go back a little bit before Fiora circle jerk here, but Dan lays down the kill slow. Nothing. No, that's danger territory from the Baron Pit. But while we were talking there, Boy Butter did pick up their 3rd dragon of the game, and Waifu Superstar, they attempted to start the Baron, but they were pushed out, and Manlore has to respect that damage.
That's a tanky Braum too. And it looks like there's we got rots on the map, both teams.
Yeah, it's rot versus rot action. And so 5-man stack out of Waifu Superstar here in the mid lane. That's what they're looking for. Kragen with the dash flash onto Splinter. KLL goes down, and
they are throwing the kitchen
away,
sink
but
at
I don't
him.
know if it's going to be enough. He uses his flash. He still has it. Exhaust goes down.
Do the damage.
And they're maybe have to just try to turn this fight to salvage it. But Salvo goes down.
Goodness,
Dan
look at his
lays
damage.
down massive amounts of damage. Cruz comes in with the cleanup kill. Swift going to try to go in on the team here, but he gets stunned up. Albino Joe is untouched, and he's still going in. Cruise Master trying to speed up his teammates here. Mystic shot just short with the karma.
Joe is almost out of mana here.
Oh, and Cruise Master with the finishing touch onto Swift. So overall, it's 1 for 3, or 1 for 2, or 3 for 2 actually. But in favor of Boy Butter.
Yeah, they blew so much on Splinter there, and I don't know if I agree with the Kale ult, but it helped delay and they just kept throwing more and more stuff on them, and then Dan just walked behind him and destroyed the back line.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe a
Holy
little. I
crap.
think there's a lot of tunnel vision there, and maybe some oversight on what targets they really needed to be going for. I mean, they did look like a very good catch onto Splinter, but yeah, there's so many tools on Boy Butter, like we talked about in the draft, that keeps people alive, that keep people moving. Karma speed ups. I mean, Shyvana just being Shyvana with the W. Kale ult saved his life there. He flashed out. He was even exhausted
Yeah.
during that fight, but all of the damage of Waifu Superstar was just barely enough to take him out.
Yeah, he's double Kragen's farm at this point, so
Uh,
that is Smog, I think
yeah,
was the
I mean
name of the dragon.
that's what we call
That is
the
Smog.
Flame Horizon. But you usually don't see junglers get into the Flame Horizon against the enemy jungler. Wow, he has a lot of gold. Let's see how much gold he has. Yeah, he has the most in the game, 16,700. Quite a lot of gold.
Well, he literally kicked Manlore and Joe out of bottom lane about 20 minutes ago and just started bottom lane farming.
Yeah. Swift pushing in that bottom lane. He does have teleport. Same with Dan as well. And this ops Boy Butter into a Baron call here. There is a ward though that does spot them out.
Do we have TP on?
Yep.
We do have TP
Yep,
on
Swift
AJ
is just
Zero.
waiting in the tri-brush.
Oh.
He's just waiting for the teleport. Solar Flare lands onto 3 people, but Splinter re-engages the fight. Swift is now just coming into this fight, and so much damage coming out of Boy Butter. Splinter's going to pick up that first kill on Kragen. Swift going in on the backline, going to try to clean up this kill, but Joe's still alive. Salvo, he has the stun passive on, but will he get popped? Wang is also in there. Double kill for Albino Joe, and he is so low. Has to be forced out of the fight. Now it's a 2v2. Manlore is still going hard, but I think he might die here, and he does. Double kill for Salvo. Albino Joe, the only remaining member for Boy Butter. So the fight goes in favor of Waifu Superstar. What a crazy fight.
I feel like, Gale didn't use her gunblade. I don't know if that would have saved her, but
Or QSS? But maybe that.
or
it's only
yeah, I don't
situational,
think that
yeah.
was applicable. I think she just died to AoE. But
Yeah.
if that Kale would have stayed up for maybe 1 or 2 more seconds, I think that would have turned the other way.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Dan just did his best impression of a turret and stood there and just started clicking.
Oh yeah. We call that the Kog'Maw nowadays.
Okay.
Yeah, where you just take your hands off the keyboard and you right click, and then you just sort of walk away and hope that you survive.
Very close fight. It just seemed like at the end there was kind of mixed calls. Joe wasn't about that 2v2 life, and Manlore was. And whenever
Yeah.
you have mixed sentiment like that, it never turns out good for the team.
Yeah.
Better to go in on a bad call and go out in a blaze of glory than get split and die anyways.
Yep, I agree. That is some very wise words for the young summoners on the Rift, and
I think
Seemed
I
like
heard
a-
Freak say that. So
yeah, it seemed like a good re-engage out of Boy Butter. And they did have the fight going already before Swift came
Oh
in
my
with that
God.
teleport.
There's rot on rot action. This is the silliest thing in bottom lane right now. Oh, the rot portals are sitting next
In
to
the
each other.
same bush. Oh.
Madlore is furiously trying to ice the other one.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
yeah. So now they got that Ra pushing in that bottom lane for them.
They got 2 open inhibs, and you just like. I think they just got to go back to the 1-3-1 again, and at this point, there's no tower to save. To deter Splinter and Dan.
Oh, and I feel there's
But
a
it looks
fight.
like Dragon's on the table.
Yeah, Sivarol comes in and Waifu Superstar, they're looking for the fight.
Oh.
Huge Sejuani ult into the backline, but Splinter goes in on the backline for himself, though. The fight ensues. Big Ezreal ult onto the backline. Albino Joe trying to stay alive. The Grand Challenge does get popped, and there's so many low health members for both teams here. Total chaos. Who's going to come out on top? Boy Butter still alive, but actually 3 members for Waifu Superstar. Salvo at a slither of health.
Oh!
Shutdown for Cruise Master on Salvo, and
Be a hero, Cruz. Be a hero, Joe. Come on, you can do it.
Oh, dude.
They don't have any wards over there. Dang.
Wow. these fights are so close. They're so intense, and there's so much AOE, and the backlines for both of these teams are staying alive to the very last second.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't want to. I feel like I keep pointing out Dan's mistakes, but I think he did the what is it, the E early, and he was on the ridge, and he ended up walking into the middle of the team, and then walking back out to get his positioning right, and then he was finally able to E again and do his damage, and it was, if he could have had that E up at the beginning of the fight when they were all clustered, he would have put in so much more work.
hmm,
Um, I just feel like one of these fights, Dan's gonna have it all dialed in, and they are just all gonna melt.
yeah,
And
I,
Joe is somehow just being the Ezreal of legend and staying in the
staying
fight
alive.
and out of the fight and not getting caught.
Yeah. No one's really going for him. He is playing far back. His positioning is pretty on point. But it doesn't seem like there's a lot of threat towards him, and he's sort of just untouched throughout the fight. Maybe
No,
they
they
just don't think
really.
he's a big damage threat.
This is very much about kill the diamond for the other team. It seems like
Yeah, and Splinter,
kill the diamond, get him out of the fight, and then
yeah,
we'll deal with the golds later.
yeah, he both of these last two fights, Splinter, they're either backing up and then all of a sudden turns the fight Shyvana straight into the enemy team, basically on top of everybody, and just soaks up tons of damage while trying to deal as much as he can in there, and then he flashes out at the very last second. But I mean, the
Uh,
CC for Waifu Superstar, they're starting off these fights really well. Good Sivir ults into Sejuani and Solar Flares. Um, it's, I mean, both of these teams are bringing their strong suits to the fights. Like, it's a heavy team fight, like a lot of CC, a lot of AoE for Waifu Superstar, but man, just the damage and the kiting out of Boy Butter is really keeping them alive at this point. It's back up to a 4K gold lead for Boy Butter. Still down in kills, and they just have a tower advantage. It's tied in Dragons. I mean, 46 minutes into the game. Did you see this game being this close, Scotch?
I mean, this is the old guard versus the old guard. All of these people have been in the league and know each other for so long. I think they can game plan for each other in their sleep almost.
Yeah,
All these people.
that's
Um,
true. Yeah. There's no. It's a rookie-less game here, so no. Hopefully, no one's getting nerves. Stage fright, SBL fright.
I mean, I don't know if it's SBL fright, but we are getting to that point in the game where one shitty team fight is it's over.
Oh yeah, death timers
And
are
it looks
super
like we
long
got
right
a
now.
good old-fashioned 5v5 throwdown at Baron.
Mhm. Yeah, they
And,
saw Albino Joe finish his recall here, and that's gonna have Waifu Superstar start up this Baron, but they're doing it
so
really
early,
slow though.
maybe
It's down
just
to
for
half health
vision.
now. Craig and Tree are taking a lot of this damage,
Oh
and they go
my
into the
God.
fight, but Salvo
Oh,
picks
they
up the
got-
Baron. It's Grand Challenge gets popped though. Solar Flare in the back line. Dan goes down before you can do any damage, and Swift answers in with all of the damage for himself, and he goes in on the back line. Red buff is ticking. Cruise Master goes down. The re-engaged Manlore goes down, and 3 members still alive for Waifu Superstar. They win the team fight and get the Baron. This might be game here. Salvo with the flash and the boomerang blade. There's the ace. No members for Boy Butter are up, and I think that will be the game, folks. A big win going over to Waifu Superstar and an epic last team fight effort.
When in doubt, and you're done with this game, go to Baron. It'll end one way or the other.
Yeah. Wow. And I mean, I guess they were kind of playing into Waifu Superstar's hands there because they knew they had the better team fight. Yeah, sure, they tanked a lot of damage in the Baron pit, but I mean, luckily they got the actual Baron. That might have maybe changed
I
things.
think it was a ricochet blade.
Yeah.
I don't know what got it, but it looked like Splinter timed his jump in perfectly, and I don't know how he did not smite that and get it.
Yeah. Wow, and just looking at damage dealt chart here, Salvo leading the game, 35k. Next in line, 32k, Dan's, Kale, and then followed up by Albino Joe on that Ezreal. But yeah, Salvo really being the big damage threat there at the end of the game. He finished 10-2-9 on the Sivir. Most gold in the game, actually. So pretty good performance out of him. Not the best like early on laning phase, but I mean it was a Sivir, so he's just sort of farming it up.
And it's interesting because he has that Phantom Dancer too, and he was doing nothing but team fighting.
Well, yeah, it's a good item nowadays. It reduces tons of damage. 12%, I believe, is the target you're hitting. But anyway, well, who do you think we should bring in here for an interview?
I mean, I think we need to talk to Salvo and maybe we need to talk to Swift too, because I
User
counted him
was
out in
moved
that
to your
top lane.
channel.
Mhm.
User was moved to your channel.
Hello
Cool.
guys, how's
All
it
right.
going?
Yeah.
Where am I?
Welcome,
You're
is
in the
this?
Swift and
caster's
Salvo,
booth.
to the
I
caster's
think we're
booth.
about to be interviewed.
Congratulations on your win.
Thanks.
Cool, cool. You guys, were you hesitant in saying thanks there? What did you guys think of that game?
We fucking suck at League of Legends.
Hmm.
Fortunately, the team we're up against wasn't any better.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, they did have a sizable lead, about 5K at any point of the game, but they basically controlled the middle 20 minutes of that game in some devastating split push fashion. What did you guys think of that when you guys were being choked out of the split push?
Well, I think it wasn't so much that they choked us out of the split push. I thought everything was going good until we had that Dragon Force, and shot calling just kind of froze for a second there, and we were 2 steps behind, and suddenly we lost everything in all 3 lanes simultaneously. And that's when, to me, this game went from in a really good position to we're fucked. And then we spent about 25 minutes playing damage control before we accidentally won.
Yeah. Baron Call obviously came in because you guys saw Albino Joe recall. Were you guys expecting to just burn the Baron down as fast as possible and get that, or were you actually expecting to move out of the pit and start the team fight?
I mean,
so
definitely a
we-
little bit of both. Go on.
Yeah, there was
You're
some
the shot
really
caller, I don't know anything.
there was some really shoddy shot calling around that one as well. I thought we had a little more time before Wes was going to be there, and by the time Wes got there, Baron went way slower than I expected it to, and we also took a lot more damage than I expected us to at that point in the game. And right as Wes jumped in, I was thinking to myself, I just lost this game by calling Baron.
Yeah, that
Uh,
that looked very scary for you guys.
Yeah.
It felt very scary, but then I was like, okay, Alt Wes, pray the heals enough, let's win. And then the second Dan put a Kale ult onto Wes, I just jumped in, Dan died immediately. And
Yeah.
then it started looking okay for us because Dan was kind of the big shot in those fights.
Yeah. How was that matchup in top lane for you? Was it
That's
I
actually
mean,
the first time I've laned against a Kale since I've come back to top lane, so I was kind of learning a lot of that on the fly. Thought about just pausing the game to go look up a guide real fast, but I figured that'd be frowned upon.
I mean that was
I definitely
I
feel
feel like
I
that
could
was a
have
very
been dueling him earlier. I wish I would have started dueling him earlier, but it's kind of a really sketchy matchup because you have to, blow your Q to jump in on him, and then he's gonna ult himself, and then suddenly you're in range of all of his shit, and he's gonna be
Mhm.
slowing you trying to get out. You have to be really confident because whoever walks out of a fight in those duels is probably gonna walk out with a lot of health, which is why I was playing it so safe.
Yeah, we were actually talking about we think what saved you and won you a lot of those duels. I think you had 2 or 3. Was the riposte had attack speed slow, and we didn't know that was the case.
Yeah.
And you landed that on Dan, and all of a sudden Dan went from this swift destroying machine to somebody threw a wrench in his gears.
Yeah, once I realized the effect of that, those duels started going a little bit better, and then there was just a lot of really strange, like, split push threatening going on that game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So bring Salvo into the discussion here. Pick the silver. Obviously since her change on the W, she's come back in a really big way. Was this comp? Was it pick Sivir and then build around it, or was this just a team fight comp where Sivir naturally fell into place?
Well, it was mostly centered around the Sivir. She's just so good now. Like, everybody knows I used to hate playing her, but the only thing I ever hated about her finally got changed. So, I mean, why not just utilize one of the best AD carries right now?
You can be the hero that your team deserves.
The crit hero.
Yeah, and the bouncing blade, that's secure Baron.
Yep,
Yeah.
I got the
Yeah,
ban there.
well,
Thanks, Kragan.
yeah. Yeah, because that yeah, I mean we can talk about that last team fight. I wish I could get a replay of that and talk through that. I think I'll watch the VOD later because that really could have gone either way. But I mean, overall, you guys did come out with the win. 2-1 start of the season. Next week, though, you play a team that I'm looking up right now. You play TDO, the think twice, die once. What do you think about that matchup next week?
I haven't heard of the team. I'll have to look into them. But I mean, it'll probably be not a landslide, but at least a good
they're
game.
kind of a team of one-trick ponies that has to run global ults on every single player on the map. I think we have a few strategies in mind that might make that a little less effective. So I would dare them to try and pull out a real comp versus us, which I don't think their players have the champion pools necessary to do, especially their AD carry, Garbo the Clown.
All right, and on that,
Wow.
folks. On that note, folks,
So rude.
we're gonna cut the stream. Cut it.